Smithy, another goal. How much did you relish being able to start on Saturday?
Yeah, obviously it's been a while for me to start a game, so it was really good, and I was just trying to make an impression as best I can, and obviously it was really nice to get a goal, but 3 points was the most important thing.
We'd spoken about being on quite a good run, but with good runs, with not being in the team, it probably makes it a wee bit harder to break into the team, as it were. So it must have been nice to get on and then score an absolute raker for the first.
Yeah, of course it's frustrating when you're not playing, but as you said, the boys have been doing really well, and boys that have been playing in my position have been scoring goals, like Bubsy and Tetty and stuff, so you can't really complain too much. You just got to support the team as best you can coming off the bench, and we'd been on a good run, but I think it was good to finally get a chance on Saturday, and as you said, it was really nice to get a goal.
Having played with 3 different players in the number 9, you obviously play out in the wing. What can each of these 3 players bring to the team, especially when you're playing with them? So playing with Yenge, Bibsy's played through the middle, Shinny's managed to make his way up to the number 9 as well in May. How's it?
Yeah, they're all good players obviously, and all of them have got goals in them, so they can obviously offer different things at different times. Obviously some boys have got a bit more height in terms of Tetty and Bibsy. You can obviously put more balls in, but then Mezzo and Shinny link the play a bit more, so it's different types of strikers, but we all know each other really well by now, and yeah, I can play with anyone of them. They're all good footballers, and they all know where the goal is.
It's one of those things when you're playing with different players. I mean, it does make it a wee bit harder, but you say you do know them, but do you try and play to their strengths, or do they try and play to your strengths? It's always probably a different one to balance when, even changing through the game. It's probably quite difficult to.
Yeah, it's a bit of both. Obviously, you know their strengths, and I think with everyone in training, you kind of get especially amongst the forward players, you train with them so often, you get those kind of relationships between each other, and I think you can see that like coming into the games more and more, and if I know where the players like to play, whoever's going to be up front, so hopefully I can do my best to supply whoever plays there.
Another tough outing at Cappielow on previously. What can we take from the previous games against them to get the 3 points? Yeah,
Morton are a good team. Obviously Cappillow's a really difficult place to go. We've only been there once this year, but it was a draw, so it's a really hard place to go. They're good at home, and yeah, they'd been on a good run of form as well until obviously last week, but we know they'll be wanting to bounce back, and hopefully we can go down there and put a good performance in and get the result.
We're heading down to Morton. Do you prefer the away games, or would you much rather play at home?
I don't know, it's a bit of both. Obviously home's good to have a home crowd, and it's kind of what your standard Saturday is playing at home, but away games has got their own thing to look forward to, going away and hopefully upsetting their home fans. So both games are good. This will be a tough one, obviously. Cappielow is hard, but hopefully we can win.
Obviously you won the playoffs with Hamilton last year. How much can you take from those high stakes knockout games into potentially our own come the end of the campaign? Yeah,
playoffs are difficult at that time of the season because it's been a long season, but they're good games to play in. They're games you want to be involved in, the kind of high pressure ones, knowing that there's promotion on the line. So really excited, and it'll be a bit different this year because the format's a bit different from the lower ones, but really excited, and hopefully it can result in promotion like it did last year for me.
Davey, coming up against the team we've previously struggled to break down, what can we take from the previous 2 results against Queen's Park in that regard?
I think change of manager. Is the big one. Obviously they lost Don Thomas again in January, so perceived they lost one of their stronger players, and Callum leaving. I think Callum's a really good manager. Callum sets up not to get beat. He knows what he's doing. He done it at St Johnstone for years, so I've got a lot of respect for Callum and how he sets his team up. So I knew going into the games with Callum not being there that it was going to be kind of a different. It would be a different approach, but I think they're on a wee bit of negative momentum now. So because I think Sean and Stevie, I think they're good. They're good in their own respect. It's not having a dig at Sean and Stevie, but I think they just approached the game a bit differently, and that probably helped us. But what I will say is, I feel that we're growing as a group as the seasons went on. It's been a continuous progression, continuous growth, And I do feel that going into games, so there's probably a wee bit of both, losing their manager, a wee bit of instability, a wee bit of negative momentum, but then again I think there's a wee bit of positive momentum from ourselves.
Lewis Smith came into the 11 last week and scored. How big a role can he play this season as we near the end?
I think there's a lot of the new players came in, and for me there's been a lot of progression from day one to where we are now. Smithy, I'll be honest, I wanted Smithy to play a wee bit more than he has played. I've been looking for a wee bit more from Smithy, but I've spoke to the group probably, don't know, I think I've touched on it with you guys about the last 9-12 games, or going into the last 9-12 games. It's not really going to be just about form, it's going to be about who I feel is going to have an impact in that game, how the opponent's going to set up against us, the shape, system, that kind of thing. And I just felt going into the Queen's Park game, we needed the 1v1s in the wide areas. I felt they would have, I knew they were going to be a 5, but I thought they were going to be a 5-4-1. They actually flipped to that in the second half, and the game became really difficult. It was a 5-3-2 in the first half. And we get a lot of joy down the right hand side, which Smithy plays a part in. He cuts inside for his goal. Great finish. So I think all the boys, not just Lewis, I think all the boys I spoke about it, they're all going to play a part. All going to play a part and try to take the club back to the Premier League. But delighted with Smithy. When I brought him in for his 1v1s in the wide areas. That was, for me, Smithy's strength. And he showed that on Saturday. So I'm really happy he got his goal, really happy with his performance. And now it's just up to Lewis to try and get a wee bit more consistency into his game. And I think that's the one thing you'll find with wingers. And I think you can look at wingers all over the world, not just at Livingston. It's probably the one part that it can be a wee bit inconsistent, so get a wee bit more consistency into his game, and I think Smithy's game time will be on the up.
I think you touched upon it before. Apart from Dunfermline, we were on quite a good run. Number of games, wins, draws. You know, it wasn't sort of too bad, so it was probably hard to break into the team. But I think if you look at Smithy's stats, I think joint top assists. I think he's got 6 or 7 goals, 5 or 6 goals.
I don't know. I'd need to go and check the board, to be fair. But I think Boobsy, Robbie Muirhead, sitting on something like 8 assists, 15 goals, 8 assists. So I'm not sure Smithy will be quite on 8. I think it'd be no far. It'd be a wee bit off it. But if you looked at his probably per minutes, his ratio per goals, per assists, per minutes is probably top at the football club. So he has an impact coming off the bench as well, and that's been shown. So it's just up for wee Smithy to have more of an impact in the games he starts. I think I brought him in to be in the starting 11. I brought him in for that wide areas, for his attributes. I think he finished the season really strong at Hamilton last year. And I think we're maybe seeing similarities this year. I think he's finishing the season really strong with Livingston, which is brilliant for us.
Those goals coming from all across the side, how do you manage the form of players coming in and out the 11 with so much at stake?
Just speaking to them, being honest, as a group, I think it was Stevie Main, wee Mac came off at half time at Dunfermline, and it wasn't really anything to do with their own individual performance, just had to change something. Stevie sat on the bench the following game and wee Mac started, so I've been really honest with the group, and I've said to them, like, don't read into it too much, but if you've got a problem, come chat my door and we'll have a chat about it. But for me, it's about what me and the staff feel is going to have a positive impact starting the game. But there's also, that sounds stupid, right, the game behind the game. So you're also looking at the impact the bench is going to have in the game if the game doesn't go the way you think it's going to go. So there's actually a few different aspects to the game, albeit you might be starting on the bench, but you're going to play a big part. And it's a wee bit harder for the defensive players in that respect, in terms of it's difficult to put a defensive player on to change a game. So they're probably the ones that feel a wee bit hard done by. Like Matthew Clark, use Clarkey as an example. Clarkey done really well up to January, but we've now got Chris, Robbie and Clarkey going for roughly 2 positions. Clarkey's came out, tried to give him as much game time as possible, but Robbie and Chris have been really consistent in their performances. And for me, the squad's got more competitive in January, because if you look at just use Mac and Robbie as an example. Both of them have started a lot of games, so that's pushed the squad on, so it's made the squad better. So it's just about being honest with the players, telling them that it is going to be changes, but it's not necessarily down to your own personal form. It's what we feel the game needs. And trying to utilise them as much as possible. The cup final was great. We managed to get boys in the park, Reece, Clarkey. It'd be a wee bit disappointing in their game time of recent, but 2 boys that can start for us most weeks. So the way the game went at Queen's Park with the 3rd goal, it allowed us to get players on the park that I feel should be on the park, but ultimately I can only play 11 players, I can only strip a certain amount, so it's just about the squad sticking together. We've all got a common goal here to try and get the club back to the Premier League, and it's been a good season to this point, let's be honest. It's been a good season. A wee bit disappointing that automatic's not in our hands, but it's been a good season, and I think it can be a really good season if we all just stick together and approach these next batch of games, whether it's 4 games, 6 games, 8 games, whatever, or 10 games, whatever it's going to be, approach these batch of games and stick together.
It's a second trip down to Greenock after a 0-0 draw last time, Davy. Hoping to go one better.
Pardon?
Are we hoping to go one better?
No, I was hoping for a draw, Hick. I was going to set up for a draw. I thought it'd be a great idea, go down there and get another draw. Aye, I want to win. So 3 points. But I thought we were a wee bit unlucky not to take the 3 points there. Pitts hits the post, great wee ball for the left hand side, and then Smithy's clean through 1v1. We don't mark the goalie, they get a recovery tackle in. So I think we had opportunities down there to win the game, albeit I know how difficult it is going down to Morton. So hopefully the park's in a slightly better condition with the weather we've had over the last couple of weeks. Hopefully that's helped the park dry it out. But we need to go there and we need to pick 3 points up, but that's easier said than done. I know Dougie inside out, I know his players, so it's going to be a difficult game. I always feel you need to go down to Morton, you need to try and get the first goal. If you get the first goal, the game opens up a wee bit. But you could probably say that about most teams in the Championship.
Morton are obviously coming off the back of a bad result, but we're coming off the back of a good result. Is that the best combination going to the next match, or does it no matter at all?
I think you can make an argument either ways. We could be in there a wee bit complacent, you could be going into the game a wee bit with a point to prove, so I think you could argue. I just kind of put the last game to bed, don't really focus too much on that, don't really focus too much on what I think Morton's psychology is going to be going into the game. It's just how we're going to approach the game, how we want to pick 3 points up and really focus on ourselves.
Is there any injury concerns or doubts ahead of this weekend's game?
No. I'm trying to think. We've actually been touch wood. I think Andy Max had a great season in terms of the injuries. We've had a few muscle contacts here and there, a few muscle injuries and a few contacts here and there, but I think we've been really fortunate in the season. But I think that's testament to the medical staff at the football club. So Andy heads up that department, so I think Andy should take a lot of credit for that. It's probably one of the best seasons I've had at Livingston in terms of the amount of injuries we have picked up, which has been very minimal at best. Last year it was horrific. It was like 3-4 every week. You'd get a couple back and another 3-4 would be injured. So last year was horrific. We seem to have a really robust group. How we've went about our business on a daily basis has really helped that group in the Saturday. So no new injury concerns, but I think this is probably a point to see. Even we Cheb to a certain degree helps out with injured. So I think we need to give Cheb and Andy and big Alex, sports scientist, probably need to give them a lot of credit in that respect about how they've looked after the players. But I do feel we've probably recruited slightly differently this year, and we've kind of went more Scottish based, where I feel the players are a wee bit more robust and are a wee bit more used to Scottish football, if that makes sense. So there's a wee bit of both there in terms of how we've done it and the type of players we've recruited. But I think Andy, Cheb and Alex, but Andy heads up that department. I think they need to take a lot of credit.
I think on Monday it's the last reserve game of the season with a chance to win the league. It seemed like the reserve games came at all the wrong time, midweeks and before, and try to fit them in, but
it's hard. Start of the year I'm always for it, and then there comes to a part in the season where you're getting told you have to play, and you've got a midweek game, like there we go. I think we had the 18s cup final and we were playing, but we had to fit a reserve game in, and do you know what, it wasn't ideal. It wasn't ideal. So I'm an advocate because I think the younger players need to be playing men's football, but I'm not sure how we do it right now is the way forward. But listen, the boys have got a chance. The boys have got a chance to go and win the league, as you say. So hopefully we're in a good place come Monday ourselves. We've got a game on the Friday again, no ideal Monday, Friday. But listen, it is what it is. There's enough recovery time in between there. But the under 18s have kind of, they know Chipper inside out now. It's Chipper that takes that team. They know Chipper inside out. So I think there's a good understanding. There's a wee bit of continuity growing there as well. And we always try and throw 4 or 5 first team players in, our first squad players. Boys that haven't played on the Saturday, try and put them in. Then you've got your Sam Culberts, your Tommies, your wee Evans, your Codys, do you know what I mean, that supplements that, and then the 18. So hopefully we're in a good place come Monday and we can kind of give these boys an opportunity to go and win a league.